Part two of my 6,000 mile service is involving the adjustment of the chain slack. I think it's pretty slack. We're going to be using this special tool from Motion Pro. Pretty cool tool, and we're going to check the slack on this. I can tell you beforehand that I did check the slack already, and it does need adjustment. I've got the center stand lowered down. I've chalked it on the other side just to get it out of the shot, but the bike has got to be on the wheel. So I know it says in the book to keep it upright, but on both wheels, not on the center stand. But I don't have a helper here that can hold this thing up, you know, so I've got to do it myself. So it's on the side stand, and I'm going to pick a point halfway between the front sprocket and the rear sprocket, and that's about here. Compress the Motion Pro tool to fit in between the chain and a good brace point on the swing arm. So you do that, and then you extend it as far up as you can go towards the swing arm, and then extend the slider part, this slider part here. So you put it on your chain here, you push it up, you extend it up to the to the swing arm, your fixed point. And then it's important to actually slide this sleeve. There's a sleeve here. You slide this sleeve down until it touches the bottom of this tool. So it's like that, okay? So this sleeve, and you're measuring on the downstroke. Now, you're not pushing up to measure, you're measuring pushing down, okay? So holding the top part against this swing arm here, I'm going to extend this down as far as it'll go, and then you can read off of the scale. I think here you're going to see it's about 40. It read about 40, and that's pretty much at the limit. I'm going to take the measurement again just to be sure. They say to roll the bike forward until you get where the chain is the tightest. So, in other words, the least movement. I didn't do that, but that's what the book says to do. You push it up against this swing arm here. You push this thing down, and then you hold the top against the swing arm, and then you pull down, and then you read your measurement. Now you see, it's a good thing I did it again, because I've got 45 there. So 40 or 45, it doesn't matter. The limit is between 30 and 40. So what I'm going to do now is use my trusty old breaker bar here, and I'm going to break this nut here loose. The torque on this is 81 foot-pounds or 110 Newton meters. So I'm going to break this loose and then start walking this back to take up some slack. Now I think I've got the right socket here. I checked it before, and yeah, I don't know what it's in metric, but 1 1/16 inch socket works. Now hopefully I don't upset the whole apple cart here. So that's that. You don't want to take it all the way off. I mean, you just want to slacken it off a bit. Yeah, I can turn that with my hand. Next, the adjuster lock nut has to be backed off, and then we start turning this to walk it back. So this nut, funnily enough, is better suited for a half inch wrench than a 13. This is supposedly a metric bike, but half inch works better. There's less play. But anyway, back that off. Back both of them off, eh? Back it off. This adjuster screw is a 12. So it's a little bit under a half inch. So I'm going to go back off the other side now. So it's the same. Back off the adjuster lock nut. I'm only going to show this on one side, obviously. Back it off, spin it back a bit. Now, I'm gonna unscrew this, so turn it in an anti-clockwise, lefty-loosey, to push this back. Using these marks here as a guide. I don't like this. My S1000 had some really nice adjusters, aftermarket adjusters, of course. But anyway, you might want to also consider counting the turns. 1, 2, 3. Now you don't have to go too much, because just a little bit, adjustment on this side here adjusts the chain quite a bit. So that was 3, and I'm going to do 3 on the other side. Another thing to do also is to measure. I don't like using these marks, I really don't. So I'm going to get a rule, and I'm going to jam it against, hopefully you can see that in the shot, but I'm going to get my ruler and jam it against the edge of this adjuster here and measure to the end here and make sure that they're both equal. I'm deflecting the chain here, and I'm seeing that it's already taken up quite a bit of slack. So let me go make sure that these two are even, and then we'll come back and check the chain. So this is what I was talking about using a ruler. What I did was jam the end of the ruler against the bottom of the adjuster and then read off the measurement. I don't know if you can see that. Read off the measurement to the edge there, and it looks like about 30. If you hold it square, you get about 30 millimeters. I did the same thing on the other side, and now I'm going to go get my mallet, and I'm going to bang on the end of this, because I don't think that I'm doing a good enough job with my arm. I'll just get up and bang it in properly, and then I'll just tighten up these adjuster nuts, and then I'll apply the torque to this. Measure again. $30, and go on the other side. 30. Good. Now at this point, we're gonna put these lock nuts back in position, and what we want to do is make sure that they're snug. So hold the adjuster with the wrench, the appropriate sized wrench. There we go. And then turn so that it's locked against the swing arm. This is not a lot of room here to do this. There is a torque on that. I don't know how you're going to apply that torque on it, because you're using these, unless you use a 90-degree offset with your torque wrench, but it's a pretty low torque. I don't think it's that important. So do it by feel. Hold the adjuster nut steady, and then tighten that lock nut. I find that works best. Good. Now that that's done, we just have to apply. I've got my torque wrench. I don't know if you can see that, but it's set, hopefully you can see it, it's set to 110. Getting there. That's it, 110. And that's it. Oh, hopefully it's right. Let's check. I never did check it up until now. So let's go check the chain slack. All right, push this down and then measure as we pull down. Let's see what we got. Look at that. Can you see that? It's in the shot. It's about 30. So remember, the range is 30 to 40. Let's measure that again. Measure slightly different. No. Measure right here. Push it up against that. Push this down and then pull down to get the measurement. Pull down as hard as you can, eh? And here on the second measurement is like 31 and a half. So I think that's good enough. Much better than before anyway. Before it was much slacker. But now it's within spec. So that's it. I got lucky in tightening before I actually checked, but you're really supposed to check first and then you do your final tightening, obviously. But yeah, I got lucky. This chain is in pretty darn good condition. I lubricate this chain every 500. And 6,000 now, it's an even number, so I'm going to go ahead and lubricate it. I use a chain wax, and I don't see any need to keep a chain sparkling clean. You know, a lot of people are very fastidious, anal, whatever you want to call that. I just need to make sure that the O-rings, which are, I don't know, this is in the shot, the O-rings which are between these plates here, they get lubricated. So just a little bit of lube all along, around, does the trick. And the chain is in pretty good condition. There's no rust on it. So yeah, it's good to go for now. So with the chain lubed up, let's take stock of where we are right now. Yesterday we did the engine and engine oil and oil filter replacement. So I've got those two ticked off. There's no leaks there, so I checked that off as well. I marked engine oil replace only because I didn't only replace the engine oil, so I marked that with an X. Next, fuel system management. Fuel system, check fuel hoses for chafing, cracks, or damage. Replace if necessary. I did that check beforehand, just a cursory check. There's nothing leaking. I can't smell any gasoline or anything like that, so I'm skipping over that kind of. The next one is auto scan. Carry out full auto scan using the Triumph diagnostic tool. Obviously I don't have that tool, so I just put a question mark there. Throttle bodies balance, I didn't do that. Cooling system, check for leaks. There's no leaks. I checked, just a cursory check again. There's no leaks. Coolant level, check and adjust. I'm about to do that. Clutch. The clutch, check operation. My clutch is pretty much within spec. I think it's the free play has got to be 2 to 3 millimeters, and I'll show that in a little while. So that's the only thing to check for the clutch. For the wheels, inspect for damage. There's no damage. One of the things about washing the bike regularly is that you're doing an inspection regularly. And I wash my bike fairly regularly, so I know there's no damage for the wheels, to the wheels. Check for broken or damaged spokes. Now that's a good idea. With a spoke bike, you want to do that. This is my first spoke bike in a long time. So I'm going to check my spokes. I'm pretty much just going to do a ding test with a screwdriver and make sure they're all tensioned equally well. And of course, if there's any damaged spokes, then I'll have some drama today. Tire wear, I can just by inspection. These tires are phenomenal. Let me just show you. I guess the style of riding also has something to do with it. But this is 6,000 miles on these tires. You can still see some paint in there, but obviously it's got a lot of meat left. So, you know, I got a little bit of chicken strips here, like 1 centimeter. But yeah, very well worn, evenly worn. So I'm very pleased with the wearing of this. I've only ridden it on the road. This is the front. The front again, you can see some blue paint still in there. This is like pretty much new, but This tire, both tires have got 6,000 miles on them, you know, so that's amazing. Going back to the list, so I don't even need to take a measurement. I won't bother. The tires are fine. Tire pressures, I'm going to check that afterwards. I've got a neat little tire pressure inflator. I'm going to go use that and make sure my pressures are up to spec. 34 in the front, 42 in the rear is what I use. Wheel bearings, check for wear and smooth operation. So I've got the bike up on the center stand now, and I'm going to check for that as well. Steering, check for free operation. Front and rear suspension, check for damage, leaks, or smooth operation. I got those already checked, even though I haven't actually done them yet, because I'm pretty confident that there's no problem. Steering head bearings, check and adjust, except for first service. So I'm going to go and pull and push on my front wheel and see what that reveals. The brakes, brake pads, we're going to check on the brake pads today, checking the wear levels. Brake fluid levels, we're going to check on that as well. I'm not going to check on, you know, whether the fluid is still good. I do have a tool for that somewhere here. I've got this, but it says replace every 2 years, regardless of mileage. So brake master cylinders, check for fluid leaks, there's none. Brake calipers, check for fluid leaks and seized pistons, there is none. Brake fluid, replace every 2 years, it hasn't reached 2 years yet, so that's not done. Drive chain slack, we just finished doing that. Lubricate, I just finished lubricating that off camera. Wear check, the drive chain wear check. Just by inspection, there's no wear to that chain. The rubbing strip, replace, it says replace it every 6,000 miles, it looks like. Rubbing strip seems to be fine to me. I'm not replacing it today. Let's see. Lights, instruments, and electrical systems, check and adjust, nothing wrong with those. ABS modulator, check for stored DTCs. When I hooked up my dealer tool yesterday, there was no DTCs. Bank angle indicators, check for wear. I never scraped those pegs, so they shouldn't be worn. Center and or side stand, check for wear, smooth operation. Yes, they're okay. Fasteners, inspect visually for security. Now, fasteners on this bike have been varied in tightness, and that has to do with the assembly of this bike, which is probably not one of the best I've come across so far. But you know, I tightened those. I'm not going to go over every single screw on this bike, you know, but I'm going to check the obvious ones just to make sure that they're tight. Carry out all outstanding service bulletin and warranty work. Obviously, I didn't do that. I can't do that. Carry out road test. I'm going to do that later. Complete the record book. I'll scribble something in there, of course, and reset the service indicator. Did that yesterday with the dealer tool. The rest of the stuff is not done because I don't have them. Sliding carriage for the rear rack and all of that. Side stand, pivot pin, clean and grease. I'll check that and I'll do it if I need to. So let's go around the bike and see what needs to be done. Okay, starting at the top, let's see what our clutch plays like. Now that play there is supposed to be 2 to 3 millimeters, and I can tell you right now it is not 2 to 3 millimeters. I did take up some of the slack before, and I didn't like how the bike felt. But I'm going to take that up a little bit because I think it's a little bit slack right now. You're supposed to do that check when it's cold, and the bike certainly is cold right now. So I'm going to take up some of that slack right now. Okay, I just made the adjustment, and as you can see, the slack is probably 3 millimeters right there. And that's all I'm going to put. Let me see. That's all I'm going to put right now. For this. After I test ride it, I might back that off a little bit because, like I said, last time I did that and it was in this position, I didn't like how the clutch was engaging. So, but it certainly started to go slack on me when it was before I just adjusted it, I did notice that the clutch seemed a little, you know, floppy and needed some adjustments. So since I'm at the front of the bike, let's pull and push on this front wheel, see if we can get an idea of the bearing condition. Okay, no, there's no play there. How is the steering? Really, I'm going to take the weight off of the front wheel now and see if we can get this thing to fall to the side easily. It's supposed to fall to the side quite easily, either way. Yeah, and there's no notchiness. Very smooth, no notchiness. So that's good. What else to check while we're here? We can check the brake pads. Can you see those brake pads? Lots of meat in them. Lots of meat in that. Let's try the other side. Yep, lots of meat on both, and everything is dry. There's no leakage or anything like that. Since we're down here, let's check for leakage on the shocks. Nope, no leaks there. On this side, no leaks there. Let's check the back, the rear. That looks pretty clean. Nothing leaking down underneath. That looks all dry and clean. Let's check the rear brakes. The pads have got a lot of meat on them left. I don't know if you can see that, but I can see that there's, unless it's completely worn unevenly, then that thickness should be reflected all throughout the length of the pad. So the pad is in good condition. I'm going to check these spokes. Since I'm looking at wheels, let's get a screwdriver. Get a medium-sized screwdriver, and let's go do some ding testing. Basically, all you're doing is checking every spoke for the same tone. So you pick a starting point, and I've got the valve there. So I'm gonna ding every spoke on this side, and then go on the other side and ding those. Oh, that's slightly off. That one's a little bit lower, but consistent with the others. This one is exactly the same. This one is slightly different. So, not perfect. Okay, I went around all the way around. I'm going to go on the other side and do that, then I'll do the front wheels. Well, I was checking my coolant, and it was slightly below the minimum mark there, and I decided to open this cap just to see if it was up to the neck here, and guess what? A whole bunch of fluid drained out or jumped out. So, you know, it was right up to the brim, you know, so yes, it had enough coolant. Let me put it that way. Now I've definitely lost a little bit of coolant, so I'm going to go ahead and try and buy some of this coolant today and then just top it back up. So coolant is checked, wheels are checked, what else? Clutch lever is checked, brake fluid levels. You can see that that's in order. So the front brake fluid level is good. Let's check the rear. Rear brake fluid level. That's right up to the little cap there. So that's good. Of course, the engine oil was done yesterday. Don't know what else to check. Everything else is good. Everything else is in good working order. No leaks here on the master cylinder. See underneath, there's nothing there. Everything is bone dry. So I think we're done. Let's go back to the list and have a quick look. Having a quick look here. Cooling system, well, yeah, we made a little bit of a mess there, but that's done. Clutch, we got that done. Wheels, we got that done. Oh, I've got to check my tire pressures. I'm going to do that off camera. Steering, we checked that. We checked the front and rear suspension. Like I said, I ride that every day, so I know it's working properly. There's no leaks and there's smooth operation. Steering head bearings, the steering moved nicely and smoothly from side to side, and there was no fore to aft play. Brake pads, they were checked. Brake levels, fluid levels, that was checked. Master cylinder, no leaks. Calipers, yeah, they're good. Well, we did the chain. Nothing wrong with the lights, instruments, and electrical systems. Bank angle indicators, center or side stand, they're fine. Yep, I think we're done. So that's the 6,000 mile service done on the Triumph Tiger, and I'm going to just go to the Cycle Gear or whatever and pick up some of the correct, hopefully I've got the right coolant. It's the pink stuff. I'm going to check the manual, see what they require, and take a ride. That'll be my test ride as well. Go to Cycle Gear and buy some of that coolant. Then I'll just top it up in the overflow bottle, and that'll be good to go. Everything else is fine. Bike is in great condition. Like I said, 6,000 miles and no issues with this Triumph Tiger, knock on wood. So far, it's been great. And yeah. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, share the video, leave a comment below, and see you in the next one.